this one because this is a trailblazer that is here to grace our stage with a presence and to share our expertise as we wait for people to join us. So what will proceed? We had almost 100 people this morning, but naturally when you attend conferences like this and when there's so much, you tend to lose track. So let me just quickly run through Mary Lanion's profile. Okay, Mary Lanion is an enterprise agile transformation coach. And by the way, congratulations on your IC Agile coaching certification. She's a trainer, a coach, and a SAFE program consultant with experience in technology and business change with over 25 years professional and entrepreneurial experience combined. And she facilitates business transformation from traditional hierarchical structures, okay, to a more agile and making it very nimble in the way they implement their solution and being very responsive to the market trends and to the market change and offering competitiveness for those businesses. She's worked with Fortune 100 companies across Europe, facilitating established companies to think and startup companies and startup to recognizing the multidisciplinary functionality or autonomy of agility for the team around and making sure their end goal is focused on value delivery, mitigating slow-moving bureaucracy, as well as facilitating leadership for strategy agility. So this is very, very important because Africa is still growing, but indeed we are growing with a lot of leaders that are making a lot of difference and are going to contribute to the continent and make us a lot shiner. So Mary, the virtual screen is all yours. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mercy, and a big thank you to the entire team for pulling this off again, because we need to keep the agility flag flying. It's not a walk in the park to put events like this together. So you are all highly appreciated. I also want to say hello to everyone that is watching right now, those of you that are here on Zoom. I see a few of you. I see Funke Adio, some people that I do recognize. I think I saw Karen Famafang as well. A few people that I recognize. So it's really nice to have you all here this afternoon. Thank you for making the time. And for those of you who are also watching on other platforms, you are highly welcome. Now, I have, do I have the ability to share, Mercy? I have a few slides I would like to use.
Absolutely.
Okay, so if I can do that. Okay. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
What can you see?
We can see your the flyer. Yes, the full screen.
Cool. You can see that now. Fantastic. So today I'm just going to, that's it. That's my topic. So the topic is, who is an agile leader? It's a question, right? $1 million question. And that is what I want us to look at today, because for me, I believe the topic of leadership is one that never gets old. It is a topic that is important because things are always changing. And it is important that we have the skills and competencies and capacity to lead. Now, when we talk about leadership, often it seems like it is somebody else's responsibility, right? But we are all leaders in our sphere of influence. We are all leaders. So this is an important topic to talk about. And first and foremost, we have to lead ourselves. First and foremost, we have to lead ourselves. So moving on, the overarching learning outcome for me is for us to be able to introspect so that we can unlock our leadership genius. I believe we all have the potential to achieve amazing things, to do amazing things. Because as human beings, we are all highly resourceful. We are all highly resourceful. We are capable of doing amazing things, both individually and collectively. So this is going to be our overarching learning outcome. Now, I would like to make this a little bit interactive, if that's okay with all of you. So for my next slide, if you can join me in the comments. Now, what I believe, if we all, look around us today, I feel, I'm of the opinion that there's a shortage of quality leadership. Now, I've got two questions for you. And if you can just please oblige me, let's get a little bit interactive here. Do you agree with this statement that there's a shortage of quality leadership? That's the first question. Yes or no? In the comments, please. Thank you very much. Do you agree that there's a shortage of quality leadership? Okay, I see yes, 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 yes. There's a shortage of quality leadership. Okay. Okay, I see a few yeses. Funke says, hello, Mary. Hello, Funke. Yes, 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 yes. Any more? Is there a shortage of quality leadership? Okay. Okay, I see a few yeses. Now, why have you responded in that manner? Why have you said, yes, there is a quality, there is a shortage of quality leadership? Again, if you can go to the comments, please. Why? What have you experienced? Why are you of that opinion as well? Or why do you agree with that statement? Again, in the comments, please. Why? Why do you think there's a shortage of quality leadership? What poor leadership have you experienced? Why do you feel that way? Because I feel that way. Why do you feel that way? It could be things happening in society. It could be, something you have experienced within an organization, or, or an organization that you have worked for. No strategic planning and management. Okay, that is coming from Evelyn. No strategic planning and management. Is this within an organizational context? It could be within society. No, not empowering staff. Yes, that is good. What else? Not empowering staff, no strategic planning and management. Life outcomes, societal decadence, absolutely. Failing families, absolutely. That's a good one, Chidinma. Indeed, when we look around us, training is expensive. Okay, that's another good one. Training is expensive. Lack of good coaching and training. Short-sighted leaders with large egos. Bad organizational culture. I love the way this is coming. I like this. That's a really, really good one. Now, when I go back, let's quickly look at the one that, is referencing societal issues. Indeed, when we look around us today, we see that society is failing. Society is not working for everybody. And that is because over the years, we've had leadership fail everyone. We've had leadership in positions that they were not ready for, or like somebody said, lack of good coaching. So they haven't had the right coaching for those positions. They have somehow ended up in these positions. Some of them is just a case of, you know what, I know what to do, but my ego is just so big that it gets the best of me, right? Some are coming from a place of self-interest. This position is all about me, right? I get there, I do what I like. Micromanagement, difficult to coordinate people. Now, from an organizational point of view, micromanagement, difficult to coordinate people, especially with different backgrounds. Absolutely. So I'm happy you have obliged me and you have, given us your perspective on this topic. Now, what you can see here is that indeed, the concept of leadership is really, really broad, whether we're looking at it from a personal perspective, an organizational perspective, or from a societal perspective. And if I ask you to define leadership, you will also find that you will all be defining it in very different ways. So that is what I'm going to ask you to do very shortly. So if I just minimize that, okay. Now, who is an agile leader? That is our topic today. First, before I go into it, I want you again to go into the comments. Like I said, I just don't want to be talking at you. And in your own words, define leadership in your own words. Who is a leader? What is leadership? In your own words, please. In your own words. What is leadership all about? What is leadership? A leader teaches and shows the way. I like showing the way. I like that. I like teaching. I like showing the way. Yeah. What else? Ability to take responsibility for outcomes. Yes, we are responsible. We are accountable. Absolutely. I like that, Chidima. What else? Responsibility. Yeah. Someone who makes sure things are done according to plan. I like that. As you can see, it's broad and it comes with a lot of responsibility. Leadership comes with a lot of responsibilities. A leader is one that has the ability to lead others in the right path. Absolutely. Leading, having that direction to be able to lead people, to be able to influence people. Thank you very, very much. So why is this topic important? It is important for the reasons you have already articulated. We are looking at this topic because it is important for the reasons you have already articulated. I think I have some more coming in. A leader who is a good coach, learner, listener, flexible, visionary, and empathetic. That is amazing, and that is quite loaded. Again, it just goes to show that this is not a position to be taken lightly. A leader, an agile leader is someone that can coordinate people to achieve the best in their different roles and be able to swiftly adjust to any change. Absolutely. After all, we're talking about being an agile leader. You have to be adaptable. You have to be flexible. You have to be open. You know, all those values and principles, they do come along. Again, thank you so much for that, for your comments. Thank you for your participation. Now, I love this quote here. Again, this is one of the reasons we're looking at the concept of leadership. Power really is a test of character. In the hands of a person of integrity, it is of tremendous benefit. In the hands of a tyrant, it causes terrible destruction. Now, this is profound. In the hands of a person of integrity, it is of tremendous benefit. But in the hands of a tyrant, it causes pain. And I like the second one here. Nearly all men can stand adversity, but if you want to test a man's character, give him power, from Abraham Lincoln. So as you can see, the concept of leadership is not one to be taken lightly at all, because we can do such beautiful things when we have that authority, that influence. We can also cause a lot of destruction. And when it comes to the political space, I don't even think I have to give any specific examples. It's all out there for the world to see. The leaders that are doing the best that they can, the leaders that seem to have just come into office to do nothing but cause pain for the people they are supposed to be leading. So defining leadership, just like you did just now, very, very varied. It's so varied because it's a very broad topic. I've managed to pick up a few here. Leadership is about being a servant first, servant leadership by Allen West. Leadership is about collaboration and inspiring others to be their best. Leadership is the ability to influence and guide people. These were also some of the definitions you gave when you responded to my question there. The capacity to influence others to achieve worthwhile results. Leadership is a set of behaviors used to help people align their collective direction, to execute strategic plans, and to continually renew an organization. Now, if you look at my slide, you will see that I have highlighted some words. I highlighted servant. I need to take some water. I highlighted servant, influence, capacity, and renew. As a leader, it's not about serving ourselves. It's not about being the boss and making sure everybody knows that you are the boss. It is about servant leadership. It's about service. It is about service. It doesn't matter whether we're talking about our family lives, our organizational lives, or the wider society. I see a comment here. Okay, so it was part of the definition. Influence. As a leader, we can influence people for good or for bad. We've seen it in the pages of history. Okay? So the concept of leadership, the power, the authority that comes with it is one that we must exercise responsibly. I also talk about capacity to influence. So the word capacity there, what my intention here is that when we talk about leadership, we are learners. And someone did talk about leadership being, a leader is someone who learns continuously. Someone mentioned that in the comments. A leader is someone who is continuously building capacity. It's never a done and dusted thing. It's a journey. And I again highlighted renew. We must continuously change. We must continuously adapt. We must continuously renew our mind, renew ourselves. We must be adaptable. We must be flexible. We must always seek, what is out there, what is new. We must be curious. We must take risk and all of that so that we don't remain stale. It is very, very important. Now, talking about influence, the power to change or affect someone or something, especially the power to cause change without directly forcing those changes to happen. It is not about forcing people. I was reading an article recently, and the CEO of an organization decided that it was important to move the organization to another location because they considered that to be a cheaper place from which to operate from. And it was something they felt they could just do because they had the authority to just uproot everybody and take them to another location. Never mind what their own preferences are, never mind what local connection they had. We just need to move because it's going to be cheaper for us to, run our business from another location. Of course, people started to leave. People started to leave. And the people who left mostly were people who had been with that organization for a very long time. And they hadn't had the time to codify the knowledge these people have, especially in the IT department. People left with a lot of things in their heads. This same leader had to then recruit these people back at a higher rate. So you leave and then you come back as a consultant because things started to fall apart. So as you can see, you have influence, but you have to use it properly. Influence it's not about forcing people. It is about how you show up as a leader such that people just, follow. They follow because of the way you show up, because you're a man of your word, because it's not just about your position, because it is about integrity, because you show respect for people. And respect for people, if you remember, is one of the values of Scrum. Respect for people. If we look at the Agile values and principles, it's all very human-centered. It is people-centered. So we must have respect for people. If we don't have influence and if we don't use it the right way, we will seriously damage the organization we're supposed to be supporting. So this takes me to the question, when does leadership happen? Again, I want you to join me here. When does leadership happen? In the comments, please. When does it happen? Does it happen in the morning, in the evening? Does it happen at night? Does it happen in, where? When does it happen? Is there a specific time that leadership should happen? Again, please join me in the comments, please. Is there a specific time for leadership to happen? I like that throughout your life as a leader. anytime you are interacting with people within your circle of influence. I like that. Leadership is a lifestyle. I like that. Leadership is a lifestyle. Leadership is a lifestyle. You live and breathe it. I love that. Every minute of the day, lead by example and be present always in a subtle manner. It happens every day, everywhere. Pity Faith says, in every situation, every time you have a chance to be a leader, every time, absolutely. Every minute, Khadija says, leading is every time. Leadership is service, absolutely. Amazing. Very lovely responses here. There is no such time when it's the only time for us to be a leader. There is no set time to be a leader. So I actually love all these responses. It is a lifestyle. And more importantly, it's about our character. So it's not about trying to be a leader when the whole world is watching, okay? If anything, it is about the things we actually do when nobody is watching. That is the real character. When nobody is watching, it is our lifestyle, because we can do something when nobody is watching that tremendously, that seriously affects other people. Nobody is watching. So it's every minute, every day, it is about it being a lifestyle. So thank you very much for those very beautiful responses again. So leadership occurs when we are placed in a position of leading. Yes, this is most commonly, this is the most common understanding of leadership. I am the boss, I'm the CEO, I am the manager, I am the director, I am the whatever, I am in this position. So we look at it from a positional perspective. Yes, obviously, we have positions in society, even within our families. We have hierarchy within our organizations, without a doubt. But let's not forget that we also have the informal part of it. You go into an organization, sometimes you have the CEO, you have all those hierarchy, but there are actually other people within the organization that don't have any main or major positional, status, but they are much more influential. It is because of how they show up. It is because they walk the talk. It is because they have respect for people. It is because they don't think of themselves. It is because they are of service to people, even though they don't have that positional, space within the hierarchy. So true, authentic leadership is not necessarily tied to any position, but rather lead with simple influence every day. We should lead with simple influence every day. So which means we must be deeply aware. We must be deeply aware of our actions, what we say, what we do, how we show up, because every minute, every moment of the day, you are leading. We are all leaders, by the way. We are all leaders. We have our sphere of influence. We are all leaders. So how are we showing up? What vibes are we giving with regards to who we are as a person, our character? How are we showing up? $1 million question. And this takes me to the consequences of bad leadership. When we get it wrong, what are the consequences of bad leadership when we get it wrong? Erosion of trust, low employee morale, and of course, when employee morale is low, there will be a high turnover, low productivity, lack of innovation, poor decision making, obviously. Because if at the end of the day, you're a leader who believes, you have all the answers, people will go mute. And you think, you can make all the decisions by yourself because you have no clue how to leverage collective intelligence. And this will begin to impact people's well-being. And before you know it, people will start to leave your organization. I'm sure we've heard so many times how people don't necessarily leave organizations, they leave bad bosses, they leave bad leaders. You will run the organization down if you're a bad leader. We've seen this happen to so many organizations. And in the process, so many families have been affected, job losses and all of that all around, because the leaders are not doing the right thing. Unethical behaviors, which may lead to legal problems. And of course, the moment you start having legal problems, that is going to affect the reputation of your organization. And before you know it, you start to, your shares starts to dwindle. Not good for business, not good for society. Because for every organization that thrives, society thrives. For every single organization that keeps standing, that means job for people, that means food on the table. So when we are in this position within our organization, it is not to be taken lightly at all. Not to be taken lightly. So as leaders, we need to build capacity so that we do a good job. We need to build capacity so that we can do a good job. And it doesn't matter where you are. When you were putting the comments about leadership in the chats, someone said lack of training. I remember somebody said that. We need to keep training. We need to keep building capacity. We need to get mentors. We need to get coaches, right? We need to keep reading. We need to keep studying. And today, there are a lot of resources out there. And that is exactly what we're doing right here, right now. Learning. It's an ongoing and lifelong activity. We need to keep building capacity. Now, if you remember, the Agile Manifesto talks about uncovering better ways of doing things. It's never ending. That is how the Agile Manifesto started. We are uncovering better ways of working. Because it's not a one shot and that's it. Things are constantly evolving. We live in a very complex environment today. So we can't afford to stop learning. I'm not going to read all this out for, but we are lifelong learners. We need to be intentional about our learning. We need to be very, very open to learn. We need a deeper level of self-awareness. How are my actions affecting people around me? The way I talk. Do I show respect for people? That is so important. Am I getting carried away because I have just been promoted? Am I feeling like, I have all the answers? I don't. And let's not forget that we can only take people or an organization as far as we ourselves can go. As far as we can go, we can't do more than that. So if we feel we've gotten to our destination, then that's it. But there is no destination really when it comes to capacity building. So how far are you willing to go to invest in yourself to build capacity so that you can better serve? That is so important, especially in this Agile space. Okay. So we need to keep building capacity. Leadership requires courage. We call them leaders because they go first, because they take the risk before anybody else does, because they will choose to sacrifice so their people will be safe and protected. This is so important. So talking about leaders going first, we need the courage. When it seems no one wants to do it, but we see that there's benefit in it, there's a greater good in it, then we must have that courage. And again, remember, courage is one of the values of Scrum. We must have the courage to do the right thing. Leaders go first. It's not about, I want you to do this and I want you to do that. It's about walking the talk. It's about leading by example. This is a really good one from Simon Sinek. Leadership needs courage. Now we're after all talking about Agile leadership. Let's look at the 17 Agile leaders. Now, when I look at this picture here, I'm full of gratitude for this, for what these 17 people have done. Now, these 17 Agile leaders, they took the initiative to start what you and I are benefiting from today. When I look at the 17 Agile leaders from the point of view of time, they have contributed it was like 20 years ago, right? That was a time when they decided we need to do something, a time and a place. So we need to identify a time when, you know what, I need to do this now. There's a problem that I need to solve, okay? There's a problem I need to solve. The concept of doing something at a particular time. They've been having problems individually, let's not forget that. And they decided to come together. They spent 2 days together somewhere invested time to solve a problem. It's all about solving problems, problem solving. And looking at the concept of people collaborating, okay? Collaborating with other people, because we don't have all the answers. They could easily have just continued with what they were doing individually. But you know what? We don't know what we don't know. We don't know what we don't know. Having respect for people, time, people, and posterity. Contributing to future generations. That is what they have done. Agile is here to stay. I mean, this started, what, 21 years ago, going to 22 years now? And here we are. What they did that time, over that 2-day period, is what we are still benefiting from right now. What they invested their time to do is what we are still benefiting from today. Isn't that awesome? And they have contributed, to generations to come. I often say that as a leader, one feels the burden of posterity. We feel the burden of posterity. You feel, what legacy do I want to leave behind? This is a huge legacy that they have left behind for the world, not just for the Agile community, for the world, because they have impacted the world a great deal. So when I look at the 17 Agile leaders, I am inspired. I am seriously inspired by what they have done. They came together to solve a problem. They came together to have a different conversation. They came together to collaborate intentionally. Now, the word diversity here is a bit of a tricky one when you're looking at a picture with 17 men, right? 17, white men. It's a bit of a tricky one. But I still put diversity there because obviously, let's give them some slack. Diversity of thought, diversity of knowledge, right? Voice of the system. Imagine having 17 people in a room. How can we coordinate ourselves and make sure that everybody is able to, contribute to the conversation? Voice of the system, where every voice is valued, and every voice is valued because you have respect for people, and giving that space for emergence. What is about to emerge here? As opposed to one person dominating and trying to, push their way through, if you like, or push their own idea through. If they had done that, we will not have the Agile Manifesto today. If they had done that, we will not have the Agile Manifesto today. So for me, when I look at these 17 people, I'm often thinking, what was the dynamic among them? What was the dynamics like? It must have been awesome for them to have come up with a manifesto of 4 values and 12 principles that has endured so far for 21 years. So they really took their time. There was respect for one another. There was psychological safety amongst them, if you like, for them to have been able to collaborate so beautifully to give us what we now know as the 4 values and then 12 principles, the manifesto. So thanks to them. We have Scrum Masters all over the world today. We have product owners all over the world today. We have Agile coaches. We have enterprise Agile coaches. There's a whole lot. The whole space of agility and coaching is one that a lot of us has benefited from. I know I have definitely benefited from it. And we are trying to even make sure that more people come into that space, which is why we're doing what we are doing right here, right now. So moving on, what are the qualities of an Agile leader? Respect for people, like I have said so many times. Being open and curious, always ready to learn. Showing up fully present and coming with your chosen meta skills. What are meta skills? Meta skills is a state of mind. It's about being aware of how you want to show up and thinking about it ahead of time. You're going into a conversation. How do I want to show up in this conversation? You're going into a meeting. How do I want this meeting to go? What do I need to do? How do I need to be? How do I need to show up to make sure that I contribute positively to the conversation? Being comfortable with being uncomfortable. Things are always emerging. We don't always have the answers. Okay. And when you are uncomfortable, it means you're being taken out of your comfort zone. So it is a good thing to be uncomfortable. It is okay not to have all the answers. That is why you have people around you. And that is why you need the influence to be able to leverage the collective knowledge and the collective wisdom that is made available to you. The point is, do you even know that you have that around you, and are you able to leverage that? Or do you think you're the one with all the answers? Leading by example, embracing diversity, evolving the system that you're a part of, always leaving the system better than you met it, always leaving people better than you met them. Okay, always listening, being resilient. They often say that we should listen twice as much as we talk, as we speak. That is why we have 2 ears. So that's a good one. Always listening. So that is important. And I like how we can leverage the Scrum values. The Scrum values can help us here. So as a leader who wants to do better, try and leverage the Scrum values. Courage, you need courage. So sometimes you might feel uncomfortable to do something. Remember what the Scrum value says. You need courage. You might look silly. People might think, you know what does he or she think she's doing? But you need courage to do what other people don't want to do. And you need that focus. Because remember, as a leader, you need to direct people. You need to show the way. You don't necessarily need to know how to do everything, no. But you need to know where you're taking people to. You need to have that compelling vision. And you need to be able to communicate that vision in a way that resonates with people, in a way that people, it's easy for people to have a buy-in. Openness, transparency, respect for people. I can't say that enough, because we live in a very complex environment. You don't have all the answers. But if you understand what it means to leverage collective intelligence and wisdom and knowledge, and you know how to do that, you will achieve amazing things. And I will share a case study very shortly with you. So the Scrum values are there for us to leverage as an Agile leader. The 4 values and principles are there for us to leverage as an Agile leader if we want to be an Agile leader. And before I start taking questions from you, I'm just going to share this case study with you. It's an interesting one. The man who saved Ford, Alan Mulally. Mulally masterminded the transformation of Ford in the midst of the worst and longest financial economic crisis since the Great Depression. Now, that is a heavy statement. Since the Great Depression, Ford was at a loss of $17 billion. Now, I'm sure a lot of people must have said, sorry, I don't want this job. I can assure you. A lot of people that would have been, approached to say, can you come and help us turn Ford around? Can you come and help us turn Ford around? Some would have run away from this to say, wow, how do I bring an organization back from 17 billion loss? But this man called Alan Mulally, he did. He transformed Ford by getting the best out of the people already working at Ford. Now, this is the message I want you to take away from this case study. It is out there if you want to go and read it in detail. He transformed Ford by getting the best out of the people already working within Ford. It's not as though that this transformation was about getting rid of people and then bringing new people in because the people that were there before were not good enough. No. So if we look at this very deeply, it's not so much about the fact that they didn't have the expertise, or that they didn't have the technology, or that they didn't have all the assets and equipments, and or even the fact that the market wasn't there for them. It was about leadership. It was about leadership. Now, just think for a minute. If an organization as big as Ford goes down, what will happen to families? Just think about that for a minute. What will happen to families when big organizations go bust because of bad decisions from leadership? What happens? So this man called Alan Mulally turned things around with the same people. Because his approach was different. He had respect for people. He celebrated failure, okay? He created a safe environment. He believed that for every, failure, there was some learning to take away. He celebrated failure. But the key thing was, what are we learning from this? So respect for people. It is so, so, so important. And as I come to the end of my session with you, it is important that we know who we are. Above all, to thine own self be true. I love this from William Shakespeare. Reflective practice is something we talk about a lot in this space. Self-awareness. Know your purpose and brilliance and walk in it daily. Know your limits as well. It's so important. You don't want to, overstretch yourself. Know when to ask for help. Know how to leverage the people around you. It is extremely important, because when we find ourselves in a position of leadership, for me, it is knowing that lives perhaps are dependent on you, knowing that you're here to show the way, knowing that it is not about self-service. It is not about you being the boss. It's not about you, being a hero. It is about leveraging the brilliance that surrounds you, because every human being is resourceful. Every single human being is resourceful, whether you're 5 years old or 50 years old. Everyone is resourceful. So we need to leverage that as an agile leader. It is about developing other leaders. It is not about looking for followers, okay? It is about developing other leaders. And this is where I'm going to say thank you and start taking questions. Thank you, thank you, thank you for listening. Any questions? I'm going to stop sharing. Any questions? Okay, I see Khadija's hand up. You want to unmute yourself, Khadija?
Thank you so much, Ma, for this session and all the to know more about Agile. So I just want to.
I can hardly hear you. Maybe you want to type your question, Khadija, if we can't hear you properly. I think you're having some connection problem.
Ask that if I want to move into becoming an idol. Sorry, ma, do you get me?
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, ma. Yes, I say that. Thank you so much for all the explanation, making us to know what an agile leader is and more about leadership. So my question is, what are the necessary things that I need to do or put in place to become an agile leader? Are there any classes, or I need to undertake some trainings to become an agile leader?
Okay,
thank you.
That's a good question. Now, when we talk about being an agile leader, what we're really saying is that you need a shift in mindset. Because if we go back to what leadership looked like, decades ago, leadership was about command and control, okay? Leadership was about directing people, telling people what to do. Like somebody said when I asked what is leadership, I think somebody mentioned something about micromanagement. When we micromanage people, we don't bring out the best in people. So it's about a mindset shift. It's about emotional intelligence. It's about social intelligence. It's about relationship intelligence. So if you want to be a good leader, when we say an agile leader, we're just talking about a leader that is doing the right thing. That is what we're saying, really. A leader that is doing the right thing. A leader who understands that it is important to have respect for people. So I would say there are free resources out there to start with. The fact that you're here today for this very brief leadership training means that you're eager to learn about leadership. So there are resources out there, and yes, there are courses out there for agile leadership. So if you go to websites like scrum.org, Scrum Alliance, there are courses out there. I see Agile. There are courses out there for how to, for agile leadership, how to really develop that capacity so that you can better serve. It is about service. So it's about moving away from the traditional leadership as we know it to be a much more friendly leader, if you like, a leader that understands the importance of people and what people bring to the table, and to be able to bring out the best in other people and make them leaders as well. Okay, so yes, you can take a training for leadership, agile leadership. Chidima, I see your hand up.
Hello, Mary. Good
Hello,
afternoon.
dear. How are you? Good
Thanks
afternoon.
for always. So my question is, how do you, ensure that as much as you want to be a friendly leader, like you put it, you still get the job done, because, you know, sometimes you get to some clients, it's as if command and control is what gets the work done. Well, in quote, you know. So how do you, you know, balance this such that I'm a friendly leader, but it still work? We are not family.
That's a good one. I like the fact that you said sometimes it's as if it's command and control that works. And I have actually heard people say, oh, all this agile thing will not work here. You have to be heavy-handed. You have to direct them and tell them what to do. I would say you need to look inward. If you feel you have to have that kind of approach, I would say question yourself first. Okay? To say, have I created an environment that allows these people that I'm working with, maybe my direct reports, or it's my organization, or I'm a manager, or I'm a director within an organization. I will look inward first. It's very easy to say, oh, these people, that people, they wouldn't do this, they wouldn't do that. Let's look inward to say, how can I show up and begin to change things? What is missing here? Why are things the way they are? So it's about observing the environment, okay? Sensing the environment to try and see why things are the way they are, as opposed to jumping to conclusion that this will not work or that will not work. Engage with people one-on-one. Engage with people. What do they need to do their job properly? What is missing? I was talking to a consultant friend a few months ago. This person had approached them to come and help them sort out their organization, because the people working for them, they are lazy, they are this, they are that, they need the heavy hand and things are just not working. By the time they did all their discovery, the leader was the problem. It was the person who engaged the consultant that was the problem. So what I'm trying to say is that it is very easy to think the problem is there or it's there, but we need to look inward, and also we need to take the time to sense the environment, to really understand what is happening. And you can only truly understand what is happening if you show up the right way, lead by example, and engage with people to really know what the issues are. Does that make sense, Chidima?
It does, Mary. Thank you so much.
Only then can you start talking about solution. You can't go into solution mode. First, let us understand our current reality. What is happening? Why are things the way they are? Okay, that is the starting point.
Thank you.
There are some questions in the comment. There are resources in terms of training to guide you in the journey and learning Agile. Okay. Yes, okay, people were responding to that. Yes, thank you, Karen. There are great resources out there. We're not short of resources today. We are not short of resources at all. Olufunke, I see your hand up. You just need to make the time to deep dive into those resources. Funke, I see your hand up.
Thank you so much, Mary.
Thank you.
I hope you hear me. All right.
I can hear you.
Amazing. Yes, I noticed that the last part of your response to Chidima really was hitting at the question I had dropped in the chat.
Okay.
So, yes, when you said that the leader was the problem.
Yes.
Obviously, there was a situation where the leader was not even self-aware. So the question I had asked in the chat was this: how do you navigate that scenario where some leaders are just completely oblivious to the impact of their leadership style on their teams? What do you do? How do you help the situation?
Well, if you take, for example, you go into an organization, and based on your observation, because you will interview people, and when you start to hear the same thing from a few people, it means there's a trend, right? It means this is what is being felt by people generally. As a coach, you have to call the attention of the leader, because it is to their benefit for them to begin to become, to start to become self-aware of how they show up and how it is affecting people, okay? So it is about coaching, asking questions. It is about getting into their own space first and foremost, because you see, sometimes when leaders show up like that, it is not necessarily that that is the intention. Let us not forget also that leaders are also under pressure, okay? Especially now where, there's so much competition and you have to, meet a particular target or whatever. Sometimes they are not aware of the way they are showing up. So what you will do as a coach or a consultant coming in is try and speak their language first of all, okay? Try and speak their language. What keeps them up at night, okay? What are they trying to achieve with the people that they have? Are they getting the best out of their people, okay? And begin to see how you can help them achieve their goals, okay? So if you start having those conversations with them, you also have to bring issues that you may have heard, of course, without throwing anybody under the bus, but find creative ways depending on the particular context, because every context will be different, to ask them questions and begin to see how they respond to those questions so that they can begin to see what they are doing that is not working to their benefit.
Thank you so much, Mary. This was so good.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
You have to work with the leaders. You have to work with the leaders. Yes.
Amazing. Wonderful.
Thank you, Funke, for asking.
Thank
we
you,
have
Leslie.
3 minutes before the next session. I don't know, is Chiere here? Is Chiere here?
Is that the next session?
Yeah,
okay.
I think so.
Any more questions?
I want to say thank you. Did you see
the question there I didn't get a chance to answer about government?
1 second, Mary. We only have 2 minutes before the next session.
Okay, let's
we should have taken like a hard stop before now. Well, I'll let you answer if she's not here. Is Chiere here?
That's fine.
Is Chiere here?
Mercy, how are you? This is Pity Faith.
Yeah.
She said she'll not be able to come in for her session.
Okay, so I'll color code her name. Thank you.
All right.
I'll
take that last question if that's okay, because I have.
So no, I would actually ask if we have a more conversation with Mary. Please feel free.
I have to go very shortly as well myself, but I'm just trying to.
But I left a link of Mary's video where we are streaming on YouTube. Please, I'd like you. Did you enjoy Mary's session? Can I get your responses, please? Did you enjoy Mary's session, please?
Yes, I did.
Okay, it's just one person. I don't think so. Aha, okay, it's coming in.
I did so much.
Okay, yes, so thank you. Your highlights that you got, please go and tag Mary and follow her on LinkedIn. Tag her on LinkedIn and just put a comment to celebrate her and appreciate sharing her expertise with us today. All right.
It's been awesome being here. Thank you very much, Mercy. Thank you.
And please follow Mary on LinkedIn. And she does Sincerely Agile with Mary. I think it's every Wednesday now. I'd recommend that you join. There's always a learning opportunity from anyone that gives us their time and expertise. I'm not feeling well. I'm supposed to be in the hospital right now, but I'm committed to what we have started. And by tomorrow, I should be able to find my way to the hospital.
You need to take care of yourself.
Anyway, so thank you so much, Mary. Please, I want to see your comments, your appreciation. Our thank you flyer should be out. And please celebrate. Thank you. Don't forget. Please celebrate Mary on that link. I'll drop it again in case you didn't have it. And we'll take a hard stop before the next session. The next session is going to be a panel session. Please, can I ask you to share? This session is going to be an amazing session because these are MDs, IC Agile, the MD of IC Agile, the MD of Lucy Chart. I'm sure you've heard of Lucy Chart. It's a UML diagram platform. Please don't say thank you to Mary here. Please say thank you to Mary on LinkedIn. Very, very important. Please, Africans, please promote our own. This is important to me because the more we talk about our own, the more visibility they get. It's very important. So click on the link that is there and go celebrate our own and just tell her thank you for our expertise that she has shared today. So please, another ask of me before Mary responds, and I'll take a break. I've been here since morning. Before Mary starts, please help us to share the next link with your community. I've sent the network. These are with Agile leaders, and they'll be coming to answer questions, talk about their experiences. The MD of IC Agile, former MD of Agile Alliance, and the MD of Lucy Child. And you don't want to miss this. I look forward to seeing you. Mary, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Well, I have to go now. So thank you all so much. It's been really nice sharing. Let's keep collaborating. Let's keep.
You have one more question you wanted to answer.
The Agile flag flying. Okay. I can't even find it now. I think it was about.
I asked the question, Mary. This is
Okay.
Makuba from Women in Agile Cameroon.
Okay.
The question I had was, how do we as Agile leaders, some 2 tips that you can give to increase Agile leadership in government and political sectors?
That is a good one, and it's a necessary one. I think this morning, I think it was Louisa Mensah that was talking about how in Ghana, a section of the police force are now using Agile. All over in England today, most of the agencies are using Agile. I think one of the ways we can do that is to create awareness. Create awareness within, within our sphere of influence in government, create awareness, write articles to start with. Article writing, I think, is a good one. Partner with them. As an Agile leader, as a consultant, as a coach, reach out to these institutions. Reach out to them, offer free training, okay? When I say offer free training, awareness sessions, approach them and ask them what problems are they trying to solve, right? Because remember, Agile is quite new to a lot of organizations in Africa, even more so for government institutions. Write articles about Agile, run awareness sessions, approach directors, approach, PAM secretaries. I mean, after all, they are running public services. They should be approachable. You should be able to put a proposal together to say, I want to come and have a chat with you about this thing because I know it can benefit your institution. Okay, so I think those are some of the things we can do. I mean, about 4 years ago, I put an article in the paper that was actually like an open letter for the Nigerian government. So these are some of the things we can do. If you feel you can write an article about how Agile can help education, go ahead and do that. It will catch somebody's attention. If you can write an article about how we can use Agile to improve our government institutions, give specific examples. Look at problems that government is trying to solve. How can Agile solve those problems for government? How can it help them, reach more people? How can they turn things around? You need to invest time in doing that. And you need to be ready to give some of your time. So it's like you're giving them a taster, right? You go to the shop and then they give you a small taster of something. And then before you know it, you are spending all your money, right? It's the same thing. What is Agile? Do they know what Agile is? Create an awareness session. If you can, partner with institutions like, there's one we have in Nigeria called the Orientation Agency. They'll be too happy for you to collaborate with them. In Nigeria, we call it National Orientation Agency. If you approach the PAMSEC, if you approach the directors to say, this is what I'm about, this is what is going on in the world, would you want to, me to come in and give you and your directors an awareness session about this? You have to be ready to invest that time. And they'll be too happy because after all, their mandate is reorientation. So if their mandate is reorientation and a coach or a consultant is approaching them about how we can have a fundamental shift in mindset, I am sure they will embrace it. Makuba, I'm sure they will embrace it.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you for giving us those tips. Those were very helpful. I appreciate you.
Good. Thank you very much. I can take one more question before I disappear. Is there any more?
Any more questions?
Otherwise,
yes, I have a question.
Okay. Yeah.
Hi, Mary.
Hello, Nimi.
Nimi here, and I'm currently in the US. I'm a release train engineer currently at Deloitte. And I loved how you talked about just, how do we start to socialize in the government space and the police task. My question for you is, what are some of the key partnerships and alignment. I know you touched a little bit about some of those things, but can you elaborate more on just how would you go about bridging that gap? Because I know that sometimes there's probably a lot of fear, a lot of lack of understanding, and the mindset aspects. So how do we talk about bridging that gap to ensure that one, safety is a concern, and then also we're able to build that trust across the board on both parties?
I think our track record will help us, sort of begin, let me use the word begin, to build that trust. So take, for example, I'm approaching the Commissioner of Police. What have I done? Okay, what have I done? So that is why I said we must start with the little things that we can do. Put an article in the paper, create an awareness session. When you approach them with an idea, understand the problems that they are trying to solve. It's not different from when we go into an organization. What problems are they trying to solve? Do you think if I'm a commissioner and someone approaches me and says, I can see you're struggling with this or you're struggling with that. This is an idea I have. And I feel if you begin to think about, these things along these lines, you may begin to have some quick wins. They will give you the time and space to, hear you out. Okay. You need to show that you have the pedigree first and foremost. What is your track record? They need to be able to see that. Okay. And that is what I love about the Agile space. We are compelled to serve. We are compelled to volunteer. Look at what is happening here today. Okay, look at what is happening here today. So you must be able to showcase something and also be able to show that you're coming from a place of problem solving and that you can see what they are, battling with, and that you can potentially help them to start to think about how to do this in a better way. Because after all, it's about doing things better. That is one way to start, because it's not always easy to break, old patterns. We all know that. It's not always easy. But I believe that if people feel you can help them solve their problems, they will give you the time and space.
Thank you for that. So just basically being a value add and just
value add.
Yes, I love
value
that.
Add. Definitely. You must be coming from that place. And that is why I said, what's your pedigree? What can you showcase? If they go search on you, what will they find? Right? So that is important. But more importantly, what problem can you help them solve? I mean, after all, they're in the public space. We know what all the problems are. Right?
Thank you so much for that.
Mary, thank you so much. I'd like you all to drop your comments in the link I have dropped earlier. Helen, hi, you are early. But thank you so much for showing up. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
I have to go now.
That's one woman that I really respect within the space. Despite our extremely busy schedule, she will still make out time to speak with you. And like Mary said, lead by service. Be the change you want to see. Most of the time, we talk the change, we are not the change. Service requires sacrifice, it requires dedication, it requires commitment, it requires giving yourself beyond what you anticipate. So I'm very excited. Please, can I ask you again to share the link for the next session of panelists? It won't be nice for them to be here and people are not here to learn. But anyway, the session is streamed on multiple channels, so I'm not even worried. This morning we had over 900, nearly over 100 people online, nearly 90, and in the Zoom, and on LinkedIn as well, over 15. So I'm very excited about today. It's been a long day, and I'm very, I can't wait. But water, please share in the community. I'm part of this conversation. Thank you so much. And I can't wait to have the panel discussion with Ellen. She's here early, and I can't wait for the next people to join. And many of you are excited to listen to the leaders in the Agile community. I am. And I think it's an honor to have them share, like Maria shared, and share their expertise with us, the community. So thank you for being here, and thank you for being, okay, Chidinma, thank you. I thought I was the only one. Okay, we are trying to add value, and we're showing that you get value, which is the most important thing that is available out there. Okay, Comfort, thank you. I see some other people joining. So please help us to share. Just click share on your LinkedIn and invite people. I'll be attending this, and I look forward to filling up the room. So we'll take some music. Makuba, thank you so much. Makuba, actually, let me put you on the spot, because as much as you're asking questions,